And we're live. Greetings and salutations. I'm Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you are listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, if Western civilization crashes and burns into the ocean, can our seats be used as flotation devices? The answer to this question and many more will be answered by our panel of experts, including Freddie von Bunchtink, who knows where all the exits are, and a few of the entrances, as well as Gwendy Wook, who will be your stewardess for the evening, who personifies the term, coffee tier me, sir, here's your little bag. Any rate, how are we doing tonight?
Yeah, I suppose.
It is cold. It is so cold. You all don't fucking understand how cold it is.
Oh, I do. It's 1 here. The temperature is 1.
I will gladly trade you. The high today was -4 with a wind chill at about -30.
Oh, yeah. I know where you are. That's pretty typical. That's like, what, Tuesday?
No, that's just cold as fuck.
Ah, well.
I can't get the heater to light.
We're not going to be doing the usual roundup of the week. We're going to be kind of doing a yearly summary this time. We're going to rattle off random topics as they pop into my head and just talk about how the years went. If anybody wants to jump on and, give their opinion or say, hey, remember that, we'll talk about it. So let's start off with all the good things that happened this year.
Well, just real quick. I
Yep.
just did a quick calculation, and I'd love to rub this in your faces. It's currently 23 degrees here. That's 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's considered cold.
You warm bastard. This cold snap has been brutal.
Australian weather and just suck it because it's cold here.
It's so cold the salt on the road doesn't work.
It's literally, that is not even a joke though.
Ah, well, let's review all the good things this year. Okay, I think that about sums it up. How about you guys? Pretty much, I don't know of a lot of good things. There was no real feel-good moment for everybody this year. I mean, I'm happy Donald Trump got elected, but that's about it. And even, I can't say that everybody was happy about that. Some people were.
Yeah, it just did seem like this was just a ho-hum slog of a year.
Yeah.
It just felt like everything was too much effort and not enough got done.
What was it? Do you remember when Captain Sully landed a jet airliner in the river?
Yeah.
See, that was a feel-good moment. That was a feel-good moment. You don't get. I can't think of anything that was a feel-good moment in the entire year. Nothing comes to mind.
Actually, yeah, I've got one. And it's a scene from The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, and it's the part where Colin Firth gets the little puppy and he remembers where he was with the blank bullet and all that. That really felt good at the end of that.
So we got a movie moment of a man with a puppy. Okay. Although, you know what? I love that plane landing thing. That was pretty cool.
Here's how fucked up the feel-good moment with the puppy thing is. The whole point of that scene in the movie is the bloke's got to, test his gall by fucking shooting his own dog. And that was a feel-good moment.
How is that a feel-good? That's not a feel-good moment. What the fuck are you talking about?
When you see it, you'll understand. But, that's how fucked up this year is. That was the feel-good moment. Someone to shoot a fucking dog.
We really needed some miracle moment this year. Just something where everybody could go, wow, something hang their hat on. Although, you know what? I always wanted, I wish I had been in the cockpit on that landing. I wanted to be the communication guy, the guy in charge of the PA system as you're going in. That would have been fun.
Would you have gone with the, okay, boys and girls, tuck your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye?
I would have been more along the lines of like, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to be doing a water landing, which has never been accomplished with a jet-powered airliner, without everybody dying horribly. So please bring your seats and trays to an upright position, and your seats can be used as a flotation device. And remember to start praying to whatever God you believe in, because frankly we could use all the help we can get right now. Let's do this. I mean, afterwards, you'd be just like, oh, man, everybody, we need to give Sully a round of applause. But I do want to comment, Sully, I've always thought better of you. That landing was a little choppy. Who here wants to vote that we should take off and try again?
I reckon if I was ever a pilot and it was like I knew for a fact we were going down but because of pilot error or something like that, and it was totally my fault and there was nothing else that could be done, I'd just jump on the PA and say, okay, boys and girls, smoke them if you got them, because I've just fucked a lot of you.
Well, at least it'd be on the black box and people would know who to blame.
Yeah, that's a good anecdote.
I'm going to start off with healthcare this year. Originally, I was for Obamacare, but that was because at the time my insurance company had killed my mother. And
wow.
Yeah, they pretty much did. They cut off her chemotherapy halfway through her treatment. And then after 6 weeks, and we almost went to court to get them to do it, they said, oops, we're sorry, we apologize. Yeah, you can have your chemotherapy. Which, of course, meant they had to, do it twice as amount. Which, of course, meant that when she broke her ankle and they gave her some pain relievers, it killed her. So technically speaking, no, they didn't do it, but I really, truly believe that 6 week period where they cut off her chemo was a real contributing factor. And so at the time when Obamacare came out, I was like, yeah, anything is better than what we've got. You want to know what? Now that we've had anything than what we had, I was wrong. This is horrible. The state of health insurance in America is in the toilet. So, but why I'm talking about it is that with the new tax plan that they just passed, they are cutting off the mandated funding, so you don't have to get insurance through Obamacare or you won't be penalized with your taxes. So that pretty much cuts the funding for the program. It's only a matter of time before it dies now. Otherwise, yeah, insurance, healthcare in America, it has gone right downhill, and I'm experiencing this firsthand because my wife has one of those really wacky, rare diseases that requires a lot of effort, and I'm very grateful for the insurance that I have, but I'm hemorrhaging money with the copays. At least I don't have a high deductible. High deductible, I don't think I'd have to file bankruptcy, but still, even without it, even with the best healthcare that's probably in New York State, I'm going broke. So. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about it, but I'm kind of glad that finally something is going to happen to undo this mess. What about you guys?
Well, what no one gets down here is that, how can you guys take something that's we've been doing for several decades now and fuck it up so badly on a consistent basis? Now, I'm a little in two minds about what I'm going to say next, because part of it's going to be towing the line, and that contradicts my actual experiences. But we have the ability to go see a doctor whenever we want. We have the ability to go see specialists and all this, and it's all bulk billed under the government and all this. But it's like elective surgeries and cosmetic surgeries and other things that you want to do to yourself. They're usually the stuff that you've got to go out and pay for and get insurance for and all this kind of stuff. So while we have a system that does work, I can't understand how come everybody else can't get theirs too.
Well, the problem is that here, at least in New York State, insurance companies can't turn down anybody ever. And so people hop around from insurance company to insurance company as they need it, which means that they stay on the cheapest insurance company until the point where they get sick, and then they hop on the best insurance when they need a lot of it. So even though we have mandated paying, it doesn't matter because the best insurance companies are hemorrhaging money. They're not sustainable. And the cheapest ones, well, they're the ones that are making money because as soon as somebody gets sick, they bail. It's ass backwards. I mean, if there was ever a system designed to destroy healthcare in this nation and make it, government run completely single payer, they did it, but I'm hoping that they're going to finally undo it because From the point of view of somebody who deals with people who uses the insurance a lot, and now I'm using health insurance a lot, it sucks. You're right. I don't know how we fucked it up. On paper, it looked like it was going to work. So, at any rate, anything else before we move on?
I got nothing. I'm just cold. I'm warming up.
I don't know. I just figure maybe a suggestion like even the NHS, like the National Health Service in England, that for all the bitch whinging and arguing about that, it's actually a system that works a hell of a lot better than most others in the world. And I don't know why you just don't sort of look at countries that have made it work and just go, well, why don't we just do that?
Because we're America.
Sort of. It really is. But see, the thing is that I'm seeing the decline of the quality. It's really going downhill. Like that's my problem. Like I only go to old doctors now. Because I go to a new doctor, I go to anybody who looks like they're 30 or under, they can't tell their ass from a hole in the ground. Seriously, they're morons. I actually had this experience with my wife. She went blind because it was a side effect of the medication we took. We went to the doctor. This girl comes in. I've got a coat older than her, I'm pretty sure. And she goes, Are you? Why do you think that that's a side effect to the medication? Oh, I don't know, because the medication, disclaimer sheet that we got from the pharmacist says this is a side effect. But how do you know? Because I've never heard of that. What the hell?
Because the fucking sheet says so. Are you shitting me?
Yes, I mean I've never had to argue with somebody, but I'll tell you this: when I was talking to her, like. It was like if anybody suspects that social justice has not infected the STEM fields, they're wrong, judging by how she was acting. She was couching everything in these weird terms and always with these apologies and she's like, I don't want to argue. Then why are you arguing with me? I mean, it was so surreal, so surreal.
Like,
oh yeah, we're gonna get. By the way,
any issues with like younger doctors? Like my son's doctor that we had when I lived in a different part of the state, like she was absolutely fucking wonderful. And like the minute I come in, she almost immediately knew what was wrong and how to fix it every single time that I took him in for anything. But then like some of the older doctors that I've had to see myself are some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever fucking met, and that's not even a joke.
I'm sorry. This is for New York State. Probably the same thing in California too. It's. I mean, we are borderline communist at this point. I mean, we really are. Like we're really close to being like full blown communists here. It's bizarre. It really is. But at any rate, anything else on healthcare before we move on?
Oh well. Just an observation, really. You're saying the decline and all this. It's not going to get any better because there's a similar decline in just normal training and instruction. And I'm now starting to see people who are in a position where normally you should be able to say something, maybe get some systemic systemic failures changed, but he just fucking shrugged his shoulders and went, there's systemic failures everywhere. What are you going to do? So, well, the difference between me and him is that the fact that, like, I'd speak up. Like back when I was in Sydney and all that, I used to fucking do change things. I get people to fucking notice shit. It's everybody's responsibility to do this kind of crap. And if you want to sit there and fucking shrug your shoulders and say, "Oh, systemic failure," well, then you're just going to perpetuate the problem. And the next person that comes along is going to be even less fucking bothered to be doing the job properly because fucking no one else is. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Well, yeah. Well, we've got one other problem here in New York State. It's the lawsuits. We're sue happy when it comes to doctors. And the doctors are petrified of doing anything. They all go into specialty fields. So, and they have we were talking to one doctor and it's like, she's got pain from this bacterial infection. You're the doctor that treats pain. Give her an antibiotic. Oh, I can't do that because that's not my, we don't deal with infectious diseases.
With the litigious culture in America, especially with the doctors, and I know exactly where the problem is with that. You've shot yourselves in the foot by paying your doctors too much the whole time. they're only a target because they earn too much. You never have any malpractice cases out here because doctors don't get paid fuck all. So yeah, stop paying your doctors too much.
I don't know what needs to be done to fix it, but it needs to change. Unfortunately, I'm back to the point where I'm going, anything's got to be better than this. Unfortunately, I'll probably be proved wrong. Anyway, let's move on. We'll get to Kilroy in a bit, but I want to start with the big summary for this year because there's only one event, in my opinion, that's been going on since the start, and that is the great moral panic of 2017. We are just now finally moving on to stage 3. For people who don't know, there's 4 stages to any moral panic. There's the rational reason for a moral panic. Usually there's an actual problem. Then the people who are railroading this over everybody expands it and starts broadening the definitions of what's morally wrong and who to blame. And that's stage 2. I think we're getting to the end of stage 2 and we're just now getting into stage 3. Stage 3 is peak panic, where something so absolutely ludicrous happens that everybody just finally throws their hands up in the air and goes, this is stupid. When it came to the moral panic of McCarthyism, it was when they had that televised hearing where that one guy just eviscerated, McCarthy on television. And everybody realized, wow, the Un-American Activities Committee is a bunch of assholes. I'm not sure if we've got that single moment yet, but I think we're getting there. I would like to point to Matt Damon as the classic latest example where he comes out and says, there's smacking a woman on the butt and then there's raping her. Both are wrong and both need to be eliminated and both need to be addressed. But they're not equal. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. The feminists went after him like he had told them that rape was okay. I mean, it was they were demanding that he was removed from movies, like where he was.
This memo.
Oh God, yes, Matt Damon. They want to remove his cameo from Ocean 8. I mean, my God, it's. But here's the thing: what did he say that was wrong? Because
Matt Damon.
I will admit, I'll be the first one to admit he's kind of a moron. I mean, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. But that said, he's a pretty honest guy. He's always struck me as an honest guy. He's just kind of, a good-looking guy who's an actor. But he tells the truth and how he see it. I've never heard this guy like flat out lie. He said what was perceptually the truth, and they're demanding he never work again. This is the moral panic. This is where somebody says, hey, maybe not all whammons need to be listened to. Maybe a couple of them might be lying. Maybe we should have, I don't know, some sort of like method of review where we actually have people have their day in court, that sort of thing, and we don't, throw people in jail on somebody say so. Okay, say what you want to say.
Okay, because how do I want to word this now? Because I totally lost my train of thought because you kept talking. Now I lost it. Shit. Damn it, Bob. Why do you do this to me? No. One thing that I can definitely say when it comes to determining whether or not someone is lying, I wholeheartedly agree that everyone should have their day in court, be able to prove to a court of law that this thing did happen. But how do you do so when there's little to no evidence? Because it is going to end up being a he said, she said type thing.
Well, then you don't put somebody in jail.
Yeah, it's even worse than that. I mean, you just get the charge and the accusation. You don't get into the full details. And it's like what Matt Damon said, a pat in the ass is completely different to, throwing someone down and forcefully bum-fucking them.
Dude,
so, right, now,
come on, act.
Just take me for an example, right? Now, I've got, an abusive behaviour charge against me, right? If you look...
Still funnier than hell, though.
No, right now, abusive behaviour against a female. Now, those 2 points there, just basically everyone's going to jump to domestic dispute of beating the crap out of her and all this. But what if you were then told, no, it was a phone conversation where I was telling her to leave me alone, and she didn't. So that's the difference. Now everyone's just jumping on the, I've abused a woman, so I'm a massive asshole and I should be crucified for it and all this. No, fuck
In
off.
all fairness, you are a massive asshole.
Well,
but you are an asshole, so it's
well,
okay.
you are an asshole, but that's besides the point. Everybody has the right to be an asshole.
Yeah,
Right.
for completely different reasons, not for fucking this. But anyway, yeah, but but like, you know, when you look at the actual situation, you look into the backstory, it's in fact I'm the fucking victim here. You know, so you know, like that. This is where like this social justice bullshit and going on social media and having your court of public opinions is really getting on my fucking nerves because, like, it is now that you know someone was you know like just happened to be looking at a Sheila in an elevator. Now he's branded a rapist because he was looking in her general direction.
He was undressing her with his eyes. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah, but no one's going to hear that bit and go, "Oh, fuck off." They're going to just hear, "Oh, he raped a woman."
oh yeah, no. The classic example was on was it Mary Povich, where three jocks and the woman who accused them of rape were on the show, and she said flat out to the audience, "These guys didn't rape me. I lied. I lied. I'm here. We're here to discuss this." And then, you know, they did all the disclosure, and the three guys were like, you know, we're really ticked off about all the problems that happened, but, you know, we forgive her and we're working out, and that's why we're here to discuss this. And Mary Povich went around the audience, and almost to a single person, all of them said, "So how did they force you to recant?" Like, even though she was there, stating flat out, "I lied," they did not believe that she lied. Okay? Like, that's what we're dealing with here. And me personally, like when I had to bring my wife to the hospital, she had 3 fractured ribs. We don't know how, but the x-ray guy suggested that she already broke them and reopened them. It's like, it's possible. She's been in a car accident a while ago, so okay. But you know what happened? Mm-hmm. They kind of like, "Hey, you know, let me get you a cup of coffee." And they brought me off to one side and they said, "Okay, your husband's not here anymore. You're a safe place now. Yeah, we have a cop right here."
But see, they have to do that for reasons, and we understand the reasons why they have to do that kind of shit. But at the same time, it didn't happen. We know that you didn't do the thing, but that doesn't mean the procedure.
But it never happens the other way around. Okay, it never happens when the guy gets it. Because I've got 2 scars where I've been stabbed by a woman, and trust me, okay, they were like, "What did you do?" What did I do? What did I do? I told her to leave me alone and wanted to like break up with her. So she stabbed me with a broken candle. I mean, not the wax, the glass case. She broke it and stabbed me. I mean,
wow.
You know, but when I went to go get stitches, they asked me what I do. And that's the assumption. The assumption is and let's go by the statistics here. If you actually comes before a judge or is at least reviewed by the DA, not necessarily prosecuted, but at least reviewed, 1/3 of all sexual assault victims are male, and the number's only going up, while as women are staying flat. But if you go by accusations, it's going through the roof. But if you go by actually seeing the inside of a courtroom, or at the very least being addressed by a district attorney, it's about 1/3 are men. You know, and I think it's because men are finally saying, "I'm so pissed off about this. You know what? The law works both ways," and they're starting to report it. Now, the actual getting into court and there being a conviction is way low, but the actual reporting and filing has increased. So I think that's why I'm saying that I think we're starting to reach peak panic here. Any thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, well, I've had that happen to me before too. My last ex, Susan, she was so accident prone it wasn't funny, and she'd do stupid shit like try and catch her like a kilo's worth of keys falling through 30 floors from a fucking tall building and wonder why she broke her fucking finger. Well, she actually did that. And take her to the hospital. They blame the obvious medic who's presenting the casualty to the fucking place of help, and they've taken her aside and they've done that thing. Yeah, no, it's okay. He can't get to you in here. You can tell us the truth. And even after Susan lost her shit and just went, "Get my fucking husband in here, you fucking they were still sort of like, shit. Yeah, is he the problem? It's like, yeah, okay. So there might be blokes out there that do that kind of shit, but fucking the guys that aren't, you know, fucking don't shit on them.
But how can you prove who does and who doesn't?
Well, if I'm walking in with reflective yellow trousers and a rural fire service T-shirt, and I'm carrying
Right, no, like in that instance, I agree with you.
I have no problem with the actual asking of the question. I just wish it was universal. Like, I wish it was I wish they asked the men too. Okay?
Well,
then nobody ever asked the men, are you a victim of abuse? Like, if it was absolutely everybody gets asked, okay, that's fine. Sure. But it's not. The assumption is, first, if you go by arrest records, if a man calls on his wife abusing him, he still gets arrested 95% of the time. Yes. I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
That's crazy.
Dark shit. I agree wholeheartedly with you.
But...
oh, no, please, and then I'll bring up the next point.
No, hang on. Just keep going. I'm still trying to remember it.
Okay, well, the other thing that I wanted to bring up, which is related to all of this, which has only started in the last couple of months here, probably around October or so. It may have gone earlier, but it's really coming to the front. A lot of these, feminist websites and papers, they're all complaining about how men are afraid of women now and how they won't do one-on-one meetings and how men are not, being mentors to women anymore because they're afraid, and they're canceling meetings that are dinners or lunches, and they're going back to it has to be in a boardroom, and they want a chaperone and all this other stuff, and this is hurting women's chances for advancement. And it was just one place that wouldn't be a problem, but it's like a lot of places echoing the same thing. And I'm like going, wait a minute here. One accusation, a man's career is destroyed, and so he's protecting himself. But you're complaining that men don't want to be alone in a room with a woman without a witness.
I don't understand the problem with that, though. What's wrong with a man not wanting a witness there to be safe? There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, well, here's the problem. The feminists, I'm going to be generalist here, are usually kind of ugly. I mean, they're not going to be landing the really rich guy who's, makes seven figure a year. No, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying in general. To be honest, you're not really much of a feminist. You're kind of a centrist.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're
definitely not a feminist.
Yeah, but there's a lot of women who are feminists who are also really good. There's a bunch of women who are really good looking, and they're used to getting ahead on their looks, and suddenly they can't use their looks anymore. They can't, flirt their way to get to have a negotiation work because they're not alone with the guy anymore to flirt with him. He's not getting within 3 feet of you, so you can't lean in and gently touch him on the arm and flutter your eyelashes because he will recoil in fear. It's hurting the higher, if you rate women on a scale of 1 to 10, the 9s and 10s are the ones doing all the bitching right now. All the ones who are like the 4s and 3s, they're like, yeah, this is great, but the 9s and 10s are going, wait a minute, you're attacking our bread and butter here. And I mean, I'm sorry, feminists, but you shot yourself in the foot on this one. Okay, you have finally pushed men into a corner, and they're problem solvers. And the solution to the problem is, we're going to talk about nothing but business. Nope, nothing outside of work. Nope, no mentoring. Nope, no nothing. The only people that I can talk to safely about normal stuff is other men. And so that's who I'm going to be friends with. I'm not going to be friends with women at work. And I'm sorry, but it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I'm even if we stop the moral panic today, though, this is going to echo for years. This is not going to stop. This is going to become standard operating procedure at many places. You're going to see things return to the 1950s as far as like morality and prudence around a business because they're also responsible for their asshole employees. And they're not going to allow their asshole employees to be in risky situations because they get sued too. Any thoughts on this?
I remember what I was going to say about the last subject, but I wonder if a lot of these nurses actually realise that when they go and say to the bloke who's presenting the casualty, that you must be the one that did it. Well, that's going to tend to piss a somewhat not pissed off person off. Anyways, that's kind of insulting. Like, when people think that I'm going to get the shits for no reason, that actually gives me the shits because, well, I wasn't. There was no sort of indication of why I was getting the shits, or if I was even getting the shits. But when people sort of like, no, calm down, it's like, what? What the fuck? You stupid bastard. What the fuck do you think I'm fucking going to go off my bloody brain for or something like that, That's, and when you do a good thing, and this is another thing that, coming back from what people have been telling me about, how people's words are interpreted. When you have somebody who has just done a good thing by helping someone make it to a hospital, and then they just instantly get accused of being the person that caused it, yeah, no shit, people are going to get offended by that. And then no shit, that's when people fucking act up in the bloody hospital, and no shit, that's when the nurses go, see, I was right, he was an arsehole. Security! That's what happens.
By the way, side note, here in America, with the shits mean you have diarrhea. So I know that. So when you were saying that, it sounded very interesting. I know that's I got the context. But up here, I'm like, if you're going to have the diarrhea, when somebody insults you, you're going to have diarrhea. I'm sorry. It's just wanted to mention it was great.
It kind of actually does come from that because, just take for instance the Kokoda track, right? During World War II, in Papua New Guinea, where the Australians were fighting off the Japanese, dysentery and all that, and malaria and shit was rampant, right? So bad that they actually just tore a hole in the bottom of their trousers so they could just crap while walking because that's how often they had to do it. And you had the shits, and the shits pissed you off, so.
I can see how that would be local colloquialism.
Yeah, and if someone's giving you the shits, that's as irritating as being stuck in the middle of fucking the Owen Stanley Ranges in the middle of the tropical heat whilst you got shit and blood running down your legs. So that's how that works.
Gotcha. Any rate, we got a couple of topics here. Which one you want to start with? We could. I see we want to mention about Kilroy. We could go there, or we can talk about social justice in gaming this year.
Can we do Kilroy? Because I'm dying to find out about that.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean by Kilroy.
Oh, okay. Based Mama. Are you guys familiar with her?
No.
Okay. No. Based Mama started up this free speech, rally, get together, convention. It was called Kilroy. It was a great concept. A lot of people signed on. A lot of YouTubers like, hey, yeah, I will find a way to get out there. And as such, she's like, yeah, but we need to sell tickets and drum up money. Can I use your images? Okay, sure. So she got a lot of different YouTubers who said they were going to show up and do it. And then as soon as she hit her $80,000 goal, suddenly a bunch of people got disinvited after their followers had already coughed up money, hoping that their favorite YouTube star would be there.
This sounds like fucking that Fire Festival again.
Oh, I don't know if anybody out there is going to get the reference, but I'm seeing, a free hour in the ball pit. I'll explain that sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, God, that was horrific. But no, I mean, and the thing is, though, people have been asking for their money back, and they're not getting any answers. And, the money's already spent, and she's getting things together. And then there were all these disclaimer, no competition. I mean, these weird contracts that say you can't film anything. You can't, nothing can be discussed. People who signed the contracts agreeing to the non-disclosure agreements, they got like some perks, and people who didn't sign them, well, you better find your own plane ticket if you want to show up. And there's been a lot of minor complaints that have been building up and building up and building up. And personally, I'm wondering if part of this is because, Base Mama's probably never done it before, and, probably incompetence. I don't think it's actually malevolence, but there's definitely some incompetence here. Running conventions hard. I did it myself once, and it was like half-assed gaming convention on a college campus. Okay? Like, I ran the LARP, and it was a nightmare. And that was just like a frickin' everybody comes together and shows up in costume and, wigs out for a couple hours. This isn't like a major political event that probably is going to get attacked by crazy social justice warriors. So that said, I don't know to blame Based Mama or not, but I do know this. Did you guys hear about what happened with the whole Crown Tea thing?
No.
The DashCon thing.
Do you know Crown Tea?
No.
I've heard of him. I've seen a couple of his videos.
Carlton T.
A subscriber.
I like the guy. I really did. He's kind of dropped off the radar for a while there, and I found out why. He started running basically his own little server with his all really intelligent scientists and a bunch of people who got together. And, well, I'm not sure if it was Carlton T's intention, but it turned into a doxing server against social justice warriors. And nothing personal, but no, never doxing, never any of that BS. And in the related note, which I'm going to bring up as to why, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but a 27-year-old man was killed during a swatting incident.
Yep, heard about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if you hear the actual 911 tape, you know, it would have been one thing had the guy rung up in the prank and went, "Oh yeah, there's a guy running around my house. Oh, quick, get out of here." Would be one thing if he did that, but what he fucking said in that tape, nah, that cunt. Like, they've got him too. They arrested him. Nah, throw him against the wall and keep fucking throwing him until his face turns into a bloody pulp.
Oh yeah, the guy. Yeah, I don't know if, we're not sure if Base Mama was involved in the doxing, but being in the server doesn't look good. There's a lot of questionable things going on, so I don't know if it's a scam or not, although there's some people going, yeah, it's a scam. It's a total scam. I think it's more incompetence. Why? It may be a scam, but I'm always of the opinion, blame incompetence before you blame malevolence. That said, if anybody comes up with even a shred of proof that there was malevolence and that she's just trying to scam money, I'm sorry. I've never been a big fan of Based Mama. Never have. Just never found her really appealing. But that's just me. I mean, the cunt stream's interesting to listen to sometimes, and then that's kind of the whole, her whole attitude. It's like you're spending more time joking than you are actually talking about the topics here. I'd like to hear you discuss the topics as opposed to sitting around talking about how much you hate. I don't know. Who was that one guy? I don't know. There's like, they were more concerned with the drama than actually discussing anything of relevance, in my opinion. But at any rate, it's all kind of intertwined, the whole Kilroy thing, and it smells bad. It smells bad, so I'm wondering if it's ever going to get off the ground. And if, for those of you who don't know what the Hour in the Ball Pit was, it was a reference to a con that was run by some people who brought together people from Welcome to Night Vale and all sorts of things, and it was horrible. It was probably the worst convention ever. And when everybody had a problem, they said, you know what? Here, have a free hour in the ball pit to make up for the problem. And the ball pit was like a swimming pool, kiddie swimming pool with a couple of plastic balls in it.
It was one of the members of the crowd that brought the bloody pool along too in the first place.
Yeah, it was
even from the organisers.
Oh yeah, DashCon. I'm wondering if Kilroy is going to be the next DashCon. Oh, I got a bad feeling. But
well, I guess Kilroy and Pepe.
As for the swatting, whoever this guy is, they need to beat him. You need to beat him like a baby seal and make him into a coat. Because the 27-year-old who got killed wasn't even involved in any of this bullshit. I believe it was just a random address. And you know what? It's not funny.
It all started over, go on to Keemstar, fucking Drama Alert. He's got the whole recording of the 911 tape. It'd piss you off when you hear it too. Like how much this fuckwit went and laid this on thick just to make sure that there was going to be a reaction. He was sitting there, right, telling the operator, I'm sitting in my parents' room. I've got my mum and my little brother bailed up in a cupboard. I've got a gun pointed at them, and if anyone comes near me, I'm going to shoot them. That's what this fuckwit said. And
in that regards,
10 minutes and shit.
In that regards, I hate to say this. I know the cop who shot this 27-year-old. The problem is from what I'm with you on the tape. I'm sitting there and going, oh God, if I heard this tape, would I be going in hot? If I believe this is what was happening. This is the problem. People are going to crucify that police officer saying, you shot an unarmed man. Yeah, you were told this unarmed man was armed and it's just, you don't take chances in that case. Now,
as a police officer, if you're being told that there is a suspect who is armed, dangerous, and at large, you're going to go in guns fucking blazing because your main objective at that point is to save anybody in there. And by saying that, you have a woman and a child there, yeah, they're going to fucking go in guns blazing. So that's bullshit.
Yeah, especially when you state to them that is your intent to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by doing that, I mean, they pretty much lined it up to not only like kill this random dude if it was like a random thing, but also like put this police officer in this position of now you look like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
given the like toxicity going on with police right now in the country.
Oh, he's toast.
That's not gonna help. Oh God, yes.
He's toast.
And that's not fair.
It doesn't matter what's going on because by the rules, he won't be allowed to discuss it or give his side of the defense at all, which means he has to stay silent, which means the narrative is going to be anybody else, and everybody hates cops right now. I mean, and I'm of the opinion, you know what? Whatever's going on, you know what? I feel sad for the guy. I hope he's got a recording of what exactly happened so we can get the details, but I'm not going to assume he was trigger happy given what I heard about the recording. If I heard that recording, it wouldn't take much for me to pull that trigger. Now, what did the 27-year-old guy do? Did he come out and go, hey, whoa, or throw his hand up or something? Or maybe there was a click, or I don't know.
No.
But you know what? No. I prefer to wait until this went through court.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard a dispatch tape too from, I believe it's one of the SWAT officers. With like, I'm pretty sure it'd be like the SWAT commander and the incident commander, and they were talking about like what were they going to do next, and the way they were talking about it was very clinical and very sort of matter of fact. It wasn't, yeah, we're going to go in and shoot ourselves a loony bin or something fucking like that. It was all like, okay, have we had any information on this number before? No, not since blah blah date. Okay, what was the thing around that? Do we have any more information coming off of this? They were trying to get as much information as they possibly could before they did anything. But when you hear that that 911 tape, fucking, it didn't leave them much option, not at all.
Right. It's just a fucked up situation all around.
And honestly, hearing the tape, I already started fucking coming up a blank of how that was going to get solved without someone getting hurt. I'm sitting there thinking, fucking, they're not getting much choice in this.
So, in my opinion, doxing is really bad because, as we've just witnessed, it can get you killed.
Oh, yeah, and when you also consider...
Before, though.
We knew that before, but now we've got an actual death.
Yeah, when you consider this too, that this was a fucking bloody, what do they call it? There's fucking role-playing game on a computer. The two cunts that were the two idiots that were fucking arguing were on the same bloody team.
Uber.
Yeah, this is just getting more and more ridiculous.
At any rate, anything else on this topic?
Nah.
Now I'm going to switch over a picture. Okay, go ahead.
Quick SWAT joke for you.
Oh God.
There's Captain Dick and Captain Condom. What did Captain Dick say to Captain Condom? Cover me, I'm
going
in.
No.
Oh.
God damn it.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, we're going to be moving on to what I call the collapse of the left this year. This has been the year of just free fall stupidity from the left here. And I've got the perfect picture. I know you guys are not going to see it, but if you guys remember my picture of the guy with the really awesome beard?
No.
This is this year if you're on the left. It's you've got to I know I can't show it to you guys. Well, you know what? I'll try and put it on the Discord. Hold on one sec. There we go. That is the summary of the left this year. This is who they are. This is the epitome.
Oh my God, that beard.
This is the epitome of what the left is. This is what they think of themselves. This is how they acted. This is what they are. This is, I mean, just politics wise. I mean, when you are sitting there on CNN and you are talking about, this is how Trump drinks his water bottle, and they're mocking the fact that the president drinks with two hands. What happened to you? I mean, like, CNN has become the Twin Towers. Trump came along, rammed them, and they've collapsed in on themselves. It's awful. But it isn't just them. It's all over the place. They just continuously freaking out. But on the other hand, they think they're so much better than everybody else. This picture is the epitome of arrogance, of conceit, and yet at the same time, he says, I am wonderful. This is the left, even though he looks freaking ridiculous.
I'm just trying to find a Joseph in his Technicolor yawn joke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, dude. That's kind of the first thing I thought with that stupid ass shawl. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, superstar. Why the hell did you smelly fart?
Oh, but here's the thing. This has been most of the year like this, where they think, oh, well, we're just going to get rid of Donald Trump and get Hillary elected and some more. I mean, I've heard some
fuck
crazy.
Hillary. Hell the fuck no. Fuck Hillary. I do not like that woman. I don't give two shits. Give me Bernie Sanders and I'll be happy.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that one. But here's the point. Okay. I think that the point where it was slow slipping. It was like California. We have a slow slip going on. And then we eventually reached that Harvey Weinstein moment. And I really truly believe that he's the one who's causing all of this chaos, because he obviously knows where all the bodies are buried. And I think he's been slipping out names here and there over and over and over. And now it is just snowballed. And when you find out about who's that one reporter who he's got a button that was installed by the company of CBS that allows him to lock the door from his desk to trap people in the room with him.
Oh my God, what's this fuck? We talked about this too. Damn it.
Yeah.
I've slept since then.
Go back to that bloody photo and have a look at blow it up so you can have a good look at this dude's face. Just have a look at with the heavy mascara. It actually looks a bit more creepy.
Yeah, see, I imagine this the kind of guy who would walk out on a stage in front of tens of thousands of adoring fans, and he would stand there and they'd all hang on his every word, and then a little child would come along and hand him a little baby chicken, and he would hold it in his hand and he would laugh, and then he would eat the little baby chicken and just chew it up and swallow, and everybody would clap because they would know that he did it as an act of love.
What the fuck, Bob?
This is my summary of the left this year. Okay, if you want a mental image, that mental image is the left, where they eat baby chickens out of love.
Here's a simpler critique of that bloke, and his photo. It looks like they've just gone and chucked a really huge, comically large and comically fake beard on a Sheila. It does. It looks like, you can yank that beard off and it'd be some hot Sheila.
Yeah, I mean, good point, Jacob. The left has been actively attacking, free speech. It's not free speech, it's hate speech. No, hate speech is free speech, okay? And
I don't entirely agree with you.
Well, it is. If we can't protect that, we can't protect anything. You got to protect all of it. Okay, if it isn't harming somebody and it's the truth, you should be able to say it. I personally think the Constitution should read not protection of free speech, but protection for true speech. If it's true, you should be allowed to say it. And all opinions are true, because it's my opinion. I believe X. You might not believe X is true, but I believe it. And if I believe it, then my statement, I believe X, is true. I'm expressing my opinion. All opinions are true if you're not lying. So people should be allowed to express their opinions. But if you make a definitive statement like the world is flat, well, is that your opinion, or are you thinking it actually is? Because you can say you believe the world is flat, but you can't prove it's flat. So
Well,
That's why I think
they
proof
use-
speech should be the way it is.
When they use terms like many people believe, or many people around the globe believe the world is flat,
That's
you
an
kind of,
oxymoron.
Yeah, but that's still technically a true statement. Okay, you need to wade through it. You need to deconstruct it to understand it. But you should be allowed to say anything that's true.
I'm sorry, I can't fully agree with you.
Can you think of an example of where you shouldn't be allowed to say the truth?
Well, okay. There's a difference to me between truth and opinion. Opinion is not a fact in my mind. An opinion is nothing more than an opinion. It's how you feel about a certain topic. Whether or not the topic is true is another can of worms. But an opinion cannot be true or untrue. That's not how an opinion works.
No. No.
Facts,
No, I believe that, vanilla is the best ice cream. Is that true or false? Do I believe it?
That's your opinion.
Yes, but do I believe it?
I mean, you can believe it all you want, but
okay, then my statement. Well, no.
So.
But my statement is. Well, see, this is the problem that the left have is that they sit around and they go, well, it's not. You can't prove it or disprove it. Well, see, the problem is the left believes everybody's equal. The opinion of the Pope is the same as a blind homeless guy masturbating in an alleyway. Their opinions are equal to the left because everybody's equal. When you express opinions, then you are inviting yourself to be judged. Okay?
Yes.
It is being judged. When I say vanilla is the best, best flavor, I believe that. You don't get to judge the statement. You get to judge me. And the left opposes that. Well, here's the problem. When you say that everybody's equal, there is no way to definitively prove if an opinion is true or false. So they start treating opinions as true. When I say I believe that vanilla is the best flavor, they think I'm claiming that vanilla is actually the best flavor. No, the only thing I'm claiming is that that's what I believe. I have not stated it actually is. I'm stating I believe it. And I believe, I can believe in God, or I can believe there is no God. And you can't definitively prove that statement because it's a belief. But for the left, since all opinions are the same, everybody's equal, then you can. And they try to prove or disprove people's opinions. You can't do that. You've got to judge the person, not the statement.
Right. No, I agree with that, though.
Yeah, no, see, it's a fine distinction here. But the left wants to do away with judging people. But you have to judge people. You have to. If I go around saying like, hey, I think all the Jews suck, you can judge me an asshole. You can judge me an asshole. Well, yeah, but if it's what I believe, I want to hear you say it so I know you're an asshole. I want you to be able to say that you think all Jews suck so I know, hey, by the way, my ancestors were a bit Jewish. Go fuck yourself.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just enough that if I was in Poland, I would have been sent to the concentration camps. I was enough of a Jew. There was a cutoff point. If you were under a certain percentage of Jew, they didn't burn you. So
Oh my God.
No, that's actually true. That's actually true.
I know, but you should stop.
But yeah, we got the whole do as I say, not as I do, because the problem is they've done all this stuff, and then what happens? Because because all opinions are equal and everything, and you can't judge people. You get all these crazy like Hollywood leftists who are like rapists, who like have like dozens of women coming out of the corner, and part of me is going, no, they deserve their day in court. They deserve their day in court. But okay, you're an asshole, and I hate you, and you're definitely. Oh God, I want to be fair, and I want to judge everybody equally. But there's also a part of me that's going, you know what? When you've got 40 women coming out of the woodwork, I kind of think maybe one of them is true. Now, of my opinion, if the person says flat out, none of it's true, okay, well then, you know what? You deserve your day in court. The problem is I keep hearing the same thing, especially, what was it that Al Franken, he came out and said, not all of these accusations are true. Well, I'm sorry. You just said that at least one of them was true. And if one of them is true, you're a scumbag.
Yeah, but you can prove that one of them is true because they had a photograph.
Yeah,
so
one of them.
Obviously, we knew one of them was true, but he can still say that not all of them was true.
Well, even if you've got photographic evidence, in my opinion, everybody does deserve that day in court. But the moment he's admitted it, he confessed to even one thing, oh yeah, crucify the guy. And that's what seems to be the difference between like the few guys on the right who get caught up in this and the guys on the left. The guys on the right all go, nope, didn't do it, not admitting to anything. The guys on the left are always going, well, I did a little bit of it and I'm really sorry. Okay.
But it looks like 50 times worse when it comes out and they're like, oh, wait, no, we have evidence that you did this shit. Now it looks even worse because you fucking lied.
Okay, yep, and I certainly should crucify the guy if he lied. Oh, yeah, I hate lying. As far as I'm concerned, lying is the worst thing you can do.
So then what would you rather have? Would you rather have someone that came out and said, well, some of it is true, and I can admit that I did do some things wrong, but not all of what they're saying is actually true? Or would you rather have someone sit here and go, nope, 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 and then come out and prove that they actually did do shit, and now it's like, oh, now you're a fucking liar? Which would you rather have?
I'd rather the people admitted the truth. Okay? Okay, but your comparison is one guy admitting the truth and one guy lying. But what about the guy who says, nope, nope, didn't do anything, and he didn't do anything?
Then he's telling the truth, obviously, and that's
right.
okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, if a guy, and this should go for women too, okay, because we've been getting increasing number of women accusations, and like that, like I will say this, there's that one woman, I forget who she was, I think it was NPR, who like got, wait, she was running for office. And there was like one accusation against her like 8 years ago from a guy. And so they said, oh, nope, you can't run for office now. The Democrats tossed her out. And it's like, wait a minute. That was eight years ago.
So it was a shit with Franken.
Oh, no. Like I said, if the guy had wanted to stick to his guns, I'd be like, okay, yep, have your day in court. But he didn't stick to his guns. He said at least one of them was true. And that woman, I don't know. I don't know the full story. I don't remember it. But I'm not sure if she confessed or not. If she confessed, okay, yep, get rid of her. But I think there was a dispute. I'm not sure. Like, that's my problem. I have no problem with somebody who confesses being crucified, however you wish to do it. But the people who don't confess, they're still crucified. It's like, okay, let's test to see if it's a witch. We're going to put ropes around her and toss her in the water. If she sinks, if she floats, she's a witch and we'll kill her. If she sinks, then obviously the pure water accepted her and she's not a witch. But she drowns. Yeah, well, now she's in heaven with God because God has accepted her. On to the next witch. I confess I'm a witch. Oh, good. We're just going to take all your lands and property. You can live. Wait a minute. No. Everybody who confessed was spared. They only burned people who did not admit to being witches. Seriously.
That's not how I remember it in fucking history class.
Yeah, well, I think it's been edited a little bit. But if you study the original, I'm at least what happened in Salem. I'm not talking about anywhere else. But the Salem witch trials, if you confessed, they took all your stuff. And then they let you live. And that's why they were targeting a lot of lone women who were widows and alone because they had all these properties that the people who were running the town wanted to take. So it was a simple land grab. Okay, that's what it was.
Wasn't it a misconception though that it was all females? It was actually mostly blokes that they'd lynched.
Oh yeah, no, it started with a few women, and then these two little girls started having seizures and like pointing people out, saying that we're being, and then that's when the moral panic went completely insane. Like it started off just some greedy guys, and then it went completely off the rails. This is why you shouldn't like invoke witches if you want to steal something. But that said, I think we're reaching, and you know what? In some ways, I'm really glad that all these women are coming out, even if some of them are lying, because the more that it comes out, the more accepting it is for people to just, say something as it happens, which it should be. And it's evidenced as well that by the rising number of male accusations as recorded, that it's also become acceptable for men too. Even though it's slanted one way or the other, it should be. And it's moving in the right direction. So maybe that's the one good thing we've got. Maybe things are moving in the right direction here.
So when you put it like that, I actually feel a bit better about it now, sort of. Because, when you put it like that, it's sort of, it sort of now boils down to a game of women want their power play and all this, and then it's now coming out that men are just as victimised in the same thing, and it'd be a thing of, well, the women are taking this really personally, and they're being really fucking hard about it. Right? Well, okay, let's see what comes out from the other side of the fucking fence. Who's got the right to whinge then?
It's like it's who whinges first at this point. Like the first person to accuse is the one who wins. So unfortunately, that's why I'm thinking we're moving on to stage 3. You're going to start seeing accusations of abuse, like shooting from the hip from everybody as soon as possible. Nobody's going to give anybody an inch, and it's going to cause a huge problem. But eventually, it's going to collapse. But I think that's going to be the crazy thing here. But speaking about crazy things, we're finally moving on to what's been happening this year in gaming. The big 3 are Wizards of the Coast, who covers Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. Marvel Comics, not Marvel the movies, Marvel Comics. And Warhammer 40K, which is the latest battlefield for this ongoing mess. Now, unfortunately, Dungeons and Dragons fell to Social Justice Warriors in 4th edition. It was abysmal. 4th edition was horrible, and there is no edition after 3.5. 3.5 for life, folks. That's where I'm at.
I will argue that 4.0 is great for dungeon crawling, and that's it.
Yeah, well,
Anything
okay.
else, no.
Yeah, if you just want a dungeon crawl, okay. But 3.5 for life for me. Then 5th edition, they started to try to turn it around, but it still has been contaminated with social justice, and I'm not going to touch it. I'm really not. I'm not happy with the rules, and I'm not happy with their writing.
So I, honest to God, stopped giving 2 fucks after 4.0 and have no idea what's going on with 5.0 or whatever the fuck. So explain to me how 5.0 has anything to do with social justice, because these are 2 different things in my world and I don't understand.
They just came out with a supplement that was based entirely on actual African nation legends and history from the whole continent kind of mashed together. It was a super evolved civilization of advanced magic with all black people running the place, and the social justice warriors bitched about it because it was cultural appropriation. It was I don't know. I do not know.
Really, it's all high fantasy bullshit. That's just really cool. I mean, look at fucking monks.
Oh no! I mean, trust me. There's stuff out there that I love that was from 3.5 that was totally cultural appropriation or whatever that is. But I will say this: it was well written. This Laserman, I didn't read it all, but from somebody I trust, he was like, "My God, the writing in this is horrible. This is like this guy wants to suck black dick. I mean, seriously." The writer just wants to, and I'm like, okay, I'm trusting your opinion. I haven't read it myself. I do not want to, but I do know about the reaction, and the reaction for this beautifully customized supplement just to suck up to black people. And the social justice warriors were not happy. They were pissed. And that's the lesson here. You can never make them happy. If they want you to do anything, don't. Because you give them an inch, you've just admitted you're wrong, and now they will destroy you. And in my opinion, 5th edition, it had some promise as far as the rules were concerned, but the setting is what matters to me. I need that setting. As a DM, it helps me a lot to have a lot of background and plots and stuff to play with. And their one attempt, being totally socially justice-y warrior, was not good enough. So that's the state of Dungeons and Dragons. Magic the Gathering, I don't understand that one too much, but I do know this. The social justice warriors are basically overrunning the place, and from the people I do know who play the game, all the new cards suck.
Oh, I love the game.
I love the game too. You're talking to somebody who had Mox Gems and original lightning bolts. Okay, the one red mana that gives you 3 damage as an instant. I had that, damn it. I made the Santa Claus deck. It was a deck that killed you by giving you cards. Okay, everything in the deck was like, do you want some cards? How about some hit points? How about this? Oh, wait, you don't want any more stuff? Brain Geyser, draw 48 cards. Oh, and you only got 3 left. You're dead. I mean,
so you had a mill deck is what you did.
I had a mill deck to use on everybody else. Yes.
Oh my god.
I called it Santa Claus. I bring you my gift. My gift is pain. My gift is pain. Oh, I only got to play it once with anybody. I played it once and then they would never let me play it again. And then
oh my god, that's so fucking funny though.
Oh, but then I would go with theme decks, like I had Spider Deck, red and green Spider Deck. It's got fireballs and incinerates. Watch your enemies disintegrate. Look out! Anyway.
No. I have, I ripped it apart because I'm a ding dong. I had a blue-white control deck, and it was literally just so fucking beef that, like, anytime anyone would play with me, about halfway through the game, they'd realize that they can't do anything without my permission. So they'd go to lay a card down, and they'd look at me, and I'd be like, I allow it.
Oh, a no deck or no game. I've fought those, although
I love them. They're so much fun because I literally get to sit there and play God, and I enjoy it.
The problem is decks like that, you only get to play it with people once, and then they say, no, you're not playing that with me again.
Right, I don't want to play that deck. Well, then I had like a red-green, like, beat the fuck out of you deck, which was literally, I'm just going to pound the shit out of your face until you're dead. It was great.
Although, did you ever hear the Mana Screwed song?
No.
Oh, I'm trying to remember here. It was to, what was that song? He just cost a rock. I need an island.
Yes,
yes.
It's Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, winter's day, I decided to play some Magic. I forget the rest of it, but it was pretty wild. It's about this guy who's playing a blue-white deck, and he gets mana screwed because he can't get any islands, and the enemy is playing a red deck and just runs over him with rocks. You know, the 3/3 flyers. Sorry to leave you out of this, Farty, but you know, it's when you're a Magic player, there's all sorts of in-jokes. And Tim the Enchanter, I love Tim decks. Anyway, but apparently from the players who are still stayed in it, I can't afford Magic anymore. Social Justice is running over the place, and there's that one guy who's been the Quartering, I forget what his name is. They're trying to actively destroy him. Like, Wizards of the Coast is trying to destroy this guy because they don't like his reviews. It's bizarre. It's the same thing that's been happening with Marvel Comics. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Diversity and Comics. He's this guy who used to be in the military, and he just picked up a hobby of collecting comics and started talking about them on YouTube. And people liked how he talked about them, so he started getting a lot of things. And then he started talking about how stupid the new Marvel Comics was. And they tried to shut him down, they were flagging his accounts. It was bizarre. Like, somebody accused him of murder. It was weird, and they're still trying.
What was his reasoning? Like, what was his bitch about the new comics?
Oh well, he would go buy them page by page, and some of them were just awful. America, the comic. It's indescribable how bad it is. The writing is atrocious. The inking is awful. And it has no internal logical sense. Except that in the Paradise dimension, two women can just have a baby by loving each other, and it just appears out of the ether. Okay, I got it, but it's just it just more and more and more, and then they've got this weird villain who's got lips for eyes, and she's this dominatrix,
Ew.
and I'm just going, what the fuck is this? It's you have to. It has to be witnessed, but it's like a train wreck. But the thing is, this is how bad of a train wreck it is. The sales are plummeting. They can't. And the sales that they did have, it has been proven that they were counting shipments to say, because people don't realize this. The comic book shops, they have to pay for these comics, whether or not they sell. So Marvel wasn't hurting because people weren't buying the comics. Marvel was still making money because they were railroading these comic places and just saying, you have to take these, you have to take these, you have to take these, and counting the boxes as sales. Well, here's the problem. Comic book places started going under. They couldn't stay open, and they couldn't get out of their contracts with Marvel. So they would have to close. There have been, over this past year, there has been so many comic book places that have imploded because of Marvel, and now they've just got a new guy, a new editor-in-chief. Maybe they'll turn it around, but he has got a long road to go. He's got a long way to go, and to be honest, he's lost a lot of loyal fans. There are people who are like, I've bought every Spider-Man comic since I was a kid, and they started going, you know what? After you turn Spider-Man into a cuck, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I've heard this from people. It's like, I'm just done. And here's the thing. I'll tell you this about fans. When they say they're done, they don't come back. You don't get to go, well, we're really sorry. No, they don't come back and try you one more time. When you've got somebody who's been with you for 15 years who says, nope, it's going to be 15 years of you sucking up before they even give you another shot. So,
but if they retconned the 616 universe into saying it was something like, bloody I don't know,
A fever dream.
The Infinity Gauntlet made everyone have nightmares or something like that, and then just continued on from where they started with the foul up. I reckon they could probably bring it back from that. But yeah, you're right. A lot of these new comics have been explained to me as like the cringiest shit you'd ever heard, and even without the context of social justice and all this kind of stuff, it is just flat out just like the worst shit. Like George Lucas could write better stuff than this, apparently.
And the weird thing is that I paid a couple of the America comics, and I'm like, you know what? I could save this. If you put me in charge of the writing right now, I could save this comic. Like, because you could make this totally a hero's journey, because she is the arrogant most. I mean, she was like arresting people and throwing them in their own private jail, or was that somebody else? I forget. It's like, and the other thing is they would take established male characters, get rid of them, and replace them with female characters. Like Iron Man is not a man anymore. It's Iron Man is replaced by Iron Heart, and as somebody pointed out, in Diversity in Comics. You don't call a hero Iron Heart, because that's what you call a villain. Someone whose heart is iron. Okay? He said,
yeah,
what?
Isn't she supposed to be a little black girl too?
Oh, yeah, she's a little black girl. And they have her origin story where she's in school saying, you know, every good black woman who ever made anything of herself was oppressed. And she's staring at her teacher and like going, okay, what? And it's the creepiest shit. And she just keeps staring at her teacher, and her teacher says, fine, you'll never be as good as Tony Stark. Do you feel oppressed now? And that is why she became Iron Man, because her teacher randomly picked Tony Stark and said, you'll never be as good as him. That's her origin. Like, holy.
I'd like to see how they'd write that if she was supposed to be the bloody Hulk.
Oh, the Hulk they replaced with a Japanese guy, I think. Or maybe he's Korean. I forget.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, they've got a Korean or an Asian, Hulk now. And Thor's a woman. And, Captain Marvel basically should be a man because she lost her boobs. Not in the game, they just stopped drawing them on her. Like, they've made the comics really ugly too. Like, they have been and of course the bad guy is always. I mean, these are the ones that made Captain America a member of Hydra. I mean, it's just some crazy shit. Like, this year has been abysmal for comics. And the only thing they could do is what you suggested. They need to bring out the Infinity Gauntlet. They need to retcon the entire universe and say, oh, we fixed everything. There you go. But even that, you would totally need to say, and by the way, every comic comes with a free blowjob. Give us a try. Because that is the only way that some of these people would buy the comic. And even then, people say, nope, not worth it. Not worth it. Sorry. Your comic is that bad.
Or the only other quick way, instead of retconning it, just simply saying, haha, foliage, you weren't in the 616 universe, you're in another one. Do a Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah, they could do a Rick and Morty. They might be able to do that. But moving on, we come to the final, which is what we're addressing, is Warhammer 40K. Now, I don't know if anybody pays attention to this. I like the setting. I don't play the game. It's way too expensive. You've got to be a millionaire to afford playing that game. Like, if you thought Magic was expensive, the miniatures.
I've never played it. I've heard the story of whatever's happened, and I totally don't remember it. But I know that there was a thing that happened with it. But I've never played the game because you're right; it's expensive as fuck, and I don't give enough shits about miniatures.
However, I do like the lore. I like the setting. It's useful for me because I can use their ideas in my own games. But that said, there has been a new group out called the Feminist 40K. They've got their own website, and they're trying to fix Warhammer because it needs more female representation. They go, what about the Sisters of Mercy? You've got an entire platoon of women. Well, yeah, but you need more black people. We got an entire group of Space Marines who are nothing but black. Heck, we've got an entire group of Space Marines who are on fire. We have every conceivable group, a minority, including groups that have extra limbs and horns coming out of their heads. If there is a group somewhere in 40K in Warhammer, it exists in Warhammer, and there's 12 variants of it. Warhammer 40K is probably the single most diverse setting ever, but it is the most diverse setting ever because they've been writing this thing for decades. Okay,
right.
And they want to come along and go, yeah, but there's no Primaris female Space Marines, and because that completely destroys the canon and the whole reason and all this other stuff, and you're trying to destroy the game. No, we're not. We're trying to improve it to make it more inclusive. The game is incredibly expensive. No, only geeks who have lots of money will play this game. You're not making it more exclusive. You're going to alienate the core people who play the game. Now, I don't play it, but I will fight to the death for their right to keep these feminists out of it. The battle lines have been drawn. I'm not sure how the outcome's going to be. It's been kind of iffy. There have been a couple of signs that the Games Workshop might be buckling. So we might see Warhammer 40K falling in 2018, but that it'll be one more destroyed game as far as the social justice warriors are concerned. That's all they seem to do. They're like locusts. They move into an area, they destroy the game, and they move on. And they don't even play it. They don't even spend it, like the money. They aren't true fans. I don't know why they do this. And the thing is, it's like most of them are men, which of course brings us to what I talked to a couple weeks ago. The words male and feminist, if they are ever put together, assume they're either a pedophile or a rapist. Because that seems to be the case. But this is like a group full of nothing but really weird, perverted men who are all about protecting the women's. So, but that's the state of gaming for the 2017. Yeah, and actually, thanks. Anything else on this topic before we move on to Disney?
Oh my God, no, let's move to Disney. I need to know what you're going to say about Disney.
Disney
is my shit.
Disney has been overrun by social justice warriors a long time ago. But they kind of kept it under control. They did. They were always, progressive and liberal and stuff. But I'm going to say this. The latest Star Wars movie, even that last one, even the seventh one, I had a lot of problems with the Mary Sue main character, but I could enjoy the movie.
How so?
I could enjoy the movie. She was perfect. She was perfect.
Mary Sue, but she wasn't.
She was perfect. She knew how to fly a plane. She knew how to fly the Millennium Falcon. She knew how to fly the Falcon when never stepping inside it.
So proud of you.
She never knew.
No. She must have done it at least once because she knew right from the word go that it was a heap of crap.
Yeah, like everything she knew how to, all this stuff, and I'm like, they're going to explain why she's so perfect in the next movie. The next movie
they did explain why she could fly it, because she had spent her entire life literally salvaging for parts and knowing what all the parts did and all these different things that she would salvage. She had to know that stuff in order to get the top money for it. It made sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, the problem is that every case, she was shown how perfect she is by showing up another character. Okay? She never proved on her own that she was great. She proved that she was great by taking an established character and saying, hey, look, Han Solo, this is your ship. I know it better than you.
Well, you don't see her starting off from a place of complete power. You see her, she's governed by Mon Plock or whatever his name is, and he's obviously been ripping her off for fucking years, and she knows it too.
Right.
So she's gone from being the absolute underdog, like what they're hinting with that kid at the end of the new one, where he sort of does
I haven't
seen the
new one yet, so I can't say anything about that.
To be honest, I couldn't finish it.
Well, apparently the last scene, there's like these poor kids on that casino planet, and as the main characters walk past them, you see one kid reach out and force pull a broom over toward him, to himself. So they come from the absolute underdog, and then she's gone into this sort of adventure and journey. So she wasn't completely perfect. If she was completely perfect, she'd be, Jedi mind tricking Mon Plock to give her more food.
Well, here's the thing, though. She, in the less than a week. I mean, time-wise, there was a couple of days. There was no time between movie 1 and movie 2. Okay? There's no time. It literally starts minutes after the seventh movie. The 8th is minutes later. And so in a couple of days, she kicks Luke Skywalker's ass. A guy who has been spending decades as a Jedi Master, trained by 2 different Jedi Masters, gets his ass kicked by a little girl who didn't believe in the Force a week and a half ago. Okay? A week and a half ago, didn't even believe in the Force, and now she's kicking Luke Skywalker's ass. And the way they killed him, oh my God, it's just...
Wait, Luke dies?
No, I'm sorry. Sorry for spoilers.
Yeah.
It's okay. It is okay because I'm still gonna watch it. But you can. I'm one of those people where I don't give a flying fuck if you spoil it.
He dies by the
goddamn thing.
I won't tell you how. But
he gets hammered the fuck, man. Jesus, they point every gun at him and they fire all the bullets at him.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and he walks through that and he's like doing all this, and I'm like, all right, and then he just keels over. Like it was like
how
he just keels over. Like the strain was too much. It kills him.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense, though.
He walks through all of the blaster bolts and all this and all the explosions, and then they all stop, and it's like that.
You want me to ruin it?
Just go ahead.
Yeah.
That wasn't him. That was a Force projection. So he wasn't even on the frickin' planet. How did he die if he wasn't on the planet? It was a frickin' illusion.
Because he expended all of his energy.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense too, though.
Yeah,
by using all of your energy to create such an obvious Force thingy, whatever.
They undid everything about his character. The movie completely undid his character.
You're a character. Shut up.
everything. Luke reverted back to the way he was in Empire Strikes Back. All dark and moon. It's like everything that we had established with this character. Like, this is a guy who moved heaven and earth to save his father from the dark side when everybody told him it was impossible. But because he kind of sees into the future that there's a possibility that his nephew might turn evil, he's going to kill a child? What the fuck? What the fuck? You vaguely see the future, and of course if it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but holy fuck, you were going to murder a child because you kind of vaguely had a future vision that might come true. What?
I wonder if they're going to explain that as being manipulated by the dark side.
Oh, and the way, what was it, Snopes or Snoops or whatever the fuck the bad evil guy is. Like, why the hell? His death was the dumbest death ever. It's like, dude, you build this guy up to be the biggest badass ever motherfucker on the planet here. He's like, wow. I'm like, oh, right, he is throwing some serious shit around. This is going to be, what, he wasn't paying attention to something, and that's how he dies. He gets backstabbed. That's it. He's like got ultimate cosmic power, and all you got to do is I'm just gonna itty bitty living space. I was like, what? And why was he betrayed? I mean, that made no sense. I mean, the movie just so many plots. I'm just sitting there and just going, I had to
BSOD.
I had to stop it repeatedly because I'm like just wanted to bash my head. But my point is that this is the final stage of the Disney symptoms where they're so concerned with being politically correct. They don't take any chances. They do not take any chance. You know what? There was the hint that, Rey was going to fall to the dark side. There's a whole plot line in established Star Wars lore where there's this, what is known as a hole in the Force, where, where somebody who's a hole in the Force, the Jedi needed to destroy them because they were really dangerous. But it was a very interesting concept. I'm like, you know what? If Rey was a hole in the Force as opposed to the reincarnation of Luke's father, I'd be like, wow, that's a neat concept. It would explain a lot of weird shit because she's actually not that powerful. She's using everybody else's power around her. You know, people die around her because she's draining their energy to power everything she's doing. And that's where she gets so much power, because if you're a Force guy and you're fighting her, she's actually using your own power against you. That would make a lot of sense to me. But nope, she's reincarnation of Darth Vader, and she's just, you know, the divergence of the Force and some crap.
Well, you see, it's actually the fans that have done this to themselves. Because I don't know whether anyone's noticed, but on YouTube, there are a ton of YouTube channels just with, you know, predicting the new movies and the lore and all this kind of stuff. And I'm betting $10 you'll probably find that Disney is letting that go because they're trying to see, they're probably even feeding some of these rumors too. Right, now, what about this plot line? Do we think Rey should, you know, go up and kiss another Sheila? No, not everyone's not a fan of that. So right now, what about this? Rey goes up and flops out a big dong. No one liked that either. Well, okay, what about if she's a feminist? Oh, feminists like that. Well, we'll put that in.
Oh no, I mean that's as good a theory as any.
But also too, I've noticed something that that I also noticed when the prequels came out, and it was something my brother said, that he just thought the story was shit. It wasn't the way he liked it or anything, you know, and it was he liking it. That was the fundamental point. And all these fans are coming out saying, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. And realistically, it boils down to all these people had this extended universe and they had all of the lore and all this kind of stuff. A lot of it's been ripped away from them, and now they're stuck with a certain specific storyline. When they all, like every single one of them, every fan that's had a suck about this, I guarantee you that they've all got their own way how the story should progress, and they're not going to be happy unless it's got some semblance to what they thought was going to happen. So when all these people came along and saw the prequels and it was absolutely nothing compared to what they thought it was going to be, yeah, they got the shits with it. And they were trying to find all these different excuses, like, oh, the acting was wooden, the CG was fucking fake, and, you know, the script was crap, you know, all this kind of stuff. It just simply wasn't the story that they thought it was going to be. And it's the same with this. It's not going to be the story that they have in their heads, and they will never be happy. That's all everybody's going on about at the moment.
Well, in defense, I did like the prequels. I mean, like, I wasn't sold on them, but they were.
I hated them so much.
Well, I wasn't like, oh my God, I could watch this every day. But it was like, you know, if I take it in its own context, it's okay. You know, you need to put everything out and just take it in its own context. I've tried to do that with this past two movies. I've tried to put it in its own context. I can't. If I put it in its own context, it still sucks. I mean, but I will say this in defense of the movie, it is beautiful. It is seamless. Every frame was lovingly crafted visually. The music, it brought me back. You know, I mean, from the sound effects and the visuals, it was amazing. But those stupid penguin things, I was glad when he ate one. You know, I mean, seriously. But I will say this, visually it was great. Sound-wise it was great. And then the actors started talking. That's the problem. If there was just no sound, no speaking, it probably would have been better.
Hey, Bob.
What?
Yes.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but like, how much longer are we going to be going? Because I'm legitimately losing a feeling in my toes.
Okay. No. Well, you know what?
Did you get the heater going?
You know, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we pretty much. Oh no, the only thing left is real quick. We'll cover Apple. Don't buy Apple products. The Apple. Never.
Shit, though.
No, you're talking to somebody who's been Apple his whole life, and I'm done.
Well, I hate Apple.
Okay,
that's not true.
Well, no. I mean, up until the point where Steve Jobs died, it was pretty decent. But after he went, they have just been screwing people over. They are so obsessed with their making everything more and more refined that they are refining themselves into obsolescence. And the things they've done to their own phone, the way that they sabotage older phones and older equipment so that, you know, if you do updates on the older ones, it sabotages them. So you have to buy new stuff. They're evil. They are evil.
Oh, yes.
And, I mean, on top of being totally politically correct, which I didn't have a problem with as long as you made a good product. I'll buy your stuff and I don't care about your political beliefs. But now they're shoving political beliefs on everybody. They're editing the Apple Store so that certain people aren't allowed to do stuff. And they're deliberately sabotaging the old equipment so that you have to buy the new stuff. Done. Never buy Apple products again. I'm never buying Apple products again. Apple is evil. That's my summary for the year. Any comments, and then we'll wrap it up.
I
No.
like my Apple phone. I've just got onto the
Why?
Apple bandwagon
Oh
because
my
I've just
God,
got on the Apple
why?
bandwagon. No,
Did you
seriously,
get a
like,
10?
I think it is. It's this year's the model. Not
Yeah.
really that into it.
I'm just
But I
gonna
tell
stick
you
with
what,
Samsung and I'm happy.
I'm
Because fuck
the,
that
the,
shit.
the, the camera on this thing is fucking amazing. Like the bloke who sold it to me, he took this black and white portrait photo of me, and I took one look at it, and I thought, yep, that's the type of photo that's going to be sitting on a bloody on a plinth at my funeral.
No, I will admit it is a good phone. The problem is that I used to think it was the best phone, but it's not anymore. It's not the best phone. There are other phones that are arguably better in many ways. I don't want to get into the details, but the phone it actually is not a big thing. I'm talking about the laptops. It used to be that if you wanted to do, high end, YouTubing, you wanted to do anything like that, Apple was the best. It's not anymore. It's not. Like I've gotten better use out of like a computer I made together out of parts from that were peed on by a cat and stuff that I dug out of a bin behind Bob's Bait Shop. I mean, seriously, I cobbled together a Frankenstein
you owned a bait
computer.
shop.
No, I didn't. Somebody else. But I've cobbled together like computers from weird parts, and it works better than my Apple. And it's sad, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And so this laptop is the last one I'm ever going to buy. They cannot bring me back. I've been there for decades, and now it's over. And I think that this is the year where it's starting to be realized by a lot of people too, because you can only do this predatory crap to your fan base so long because I believe this has been the first quarter that Apple actually started showing losses. They've reversed. They're always growing, and they've kind of stagnated and dropped a little. So I'm wondering if this is the beginning of the end for Apple, because you can only screw over your loyal customers so long. So, at any rate, anything else? Yeah, like Marvel.
Wonder if that's like more market saturation than anything else, because how many people are realistically going to be updating their phones every 5 minutes?
And it isn't.
Like nobody.
It isn't. It's not that. It's Apple being almost predatory towards its customers. It really is. I mean
for me, the main problem that I've always had with Apple has to do with their like sheer, how do I want to word this? The tight grip that they have with like their products and their software.
Oh yeah.
You can't do anything with it. Whereas like for example, if you break the fuck out of like an Android operating system, you break the fuck out of Google's operating system, Google will pay you and will literally be like, show us how you broke it so we can figure out how to fix it, and we will give you money because you showed us there was a problem. You do that with
Yeah.
Apple and they sue the fucking shit out of you because you broke their stuff.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but your shit is not golden. It doesn't smell like fucking roses. Stop it.
Well, that's the thing with every security system. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors and subterfuge. I mean, there's the thing about the Pentagon. Everybody seems to think that every inch of the Pentagon is like covered with cameras. No, it's not. In fact, a
No.
very
Oh
small
God,
portion
no.
of it is. Yeah, and only a small portion of it is. But everybody's sort of running under the whole thing of, well, everybody thinks there's millions of cameras here, so as long as we don't mess with that illusion, everyone's going to not be as dodgy as and you have a look at something like Nintendo, for example, because this actually sounds like a carbon copy of the computer game Crash in the 80s. They had so many people going out and using their proprietary equipment and all this, that they actually locked down the market just to keep their own brand honest, and they actually came out on top of that because everyone was like, okay, right, the Nintendo seal of quality actually means something.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah. With this, it's sort of similar in the same instance where it looks dodgy right up front, but all basically Apple is doing is they're just basically controlling what is actually theirs, and a lot of the scare tactics involved is like, well, okay, we're not going to go looking for holes because even if we're doing them a favor, they're still going to punish us for it. So don't even go trying to look for them. That's the rationale from that. One rationale is thanks for updating our security. The other attitude is don't even go snooping in the first place. So you probably find it's that, and they'll come out with a better guarantee and quality control and all that on their stuff because of it.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up. Any final comments here?
No, it's cold. It is so cold.
Alrighty, well, we'll wrap it up here. Well, it's been an interesting year, folks.
One last joke.
Oh, sure.
Oh, God, yes, please.
Okay. This young kid's doing a school project on the difference between potential and reality. And he goes up to his father and he says, "Hey, Dad, what's the difference between potential and reality?" And his dad scratches his chin for a sec and thinks, "Okay, right. Go ask your little sister if she'd root the postman for $100. Root is another word for a fuck."
Yes, yes.
Right. And he says, "Okay, rightio." Didn't get the reasoning for it, but yeah, okay, I'll go ask. So he goes up to his little sister and says, "Hey, sis, would you root the postman for $100?" And she says, "Oh, yeah, why not?" So he goes back to his dad and he says, "Yeah, she said yeah. So what's your point?" And he goes, "All right, now go ask your older sister if she'd root the postman for $100." So he goes off and yeah, "Hey, sis, would you root the postman for $100?" And she's, "Oh, yeah, oh, $100, why not?" He comes back down. He says, "Yeah, Dad, she said yeah, but I still don't get your point." And he says, "Right, now, ask your brother if he'd root the postman for $100." So, all right. So he goes off to his brother and he says, "Bro, would you root the postman for $100?" And he's like, $100 is $100. Yeah, why not? So he comes back to his dad. "Dad, yeah, he said yeah. What's your bloody point?" And he goes, "Right, potentially, there's $300 in this family, but in reality, there's 2 sluts and a poof."
What the fuck?
Okay, on that happy note there, I think that pretty much sums up 2017. 2017 might have been $300, but it's about 2 sluts and a poof.
2 sluts and a poof.
That's 2017. Like this guy, like the guy with the beard.
I'm done with that.
Well, it's been real and it's been fun and it's been a really long year, which I'm pretty sure hasn't been fun. 2018's coming up, and boy,
Oh God.
One last thing I got to rub in your faces. Yeah, 2018 is coming very soon. I get there before yous.
Of course. Well, I'd hold on, folks, and keep those seats as a flotation device handy because we are in for a bumpy ride. This is stage 3 of the moral panic, and I am pretty sure we ain't seen shit yet. Looking forward to talking to all you guys next year, and hopefully I'm going to try to, step it up here and be a little more, professional. We'll see. Any rate, any last words?
Nope.
And on that happy note,